Hi, this is Vi from Scrappy Mania, and welcome to another episode of Scrapping Therapy. And here I am playing with a new art journal that I created using recycled magazines. I'm also playing with some latex paint that I found on my local Ace hardware store, and they were on clearance for 25 cents. And I'm also going to be playing with some portfolio and with a new technique. Um, the technique was that I saw on YouTube was to create 3 lines. About Mine is about an inch apart, but it could be any size. You just need to create it equal spacing, and then you're gonna create your ovals for your eyes are gonna be on the first line, or in between the first and the second line. Your nose is gonna be about the middle of the second to third line, and then your mouth is gonna be underneath your third line. And if you're wondering about this art journal, I created this art journal with recycled magazine. So I just took a magazine that I had, and I glued 2 pages together using my gel medium. And then after everything was nice and dry, I also taped the spine. Each of the section I used my masking tape to tape the spine, so that way I made it that it'll withstand all the liquid and the gesso. And then I went ahead and gesso each and every page. Here I'm using my latex paint. Now this latex paint that is not the same. It doesn't have the same consistency as regular acrylic paint or even watercolor paint. It's more plastic. It has more plastic consistency. And the blending is not the best. You do have to water it down if you want to blend it. But it did work okay. I mean, I do like the paint. It gives a great coverage. So I do like it. And for 25 cents, you cannot go wrong. And then here I'm using my portfolio, and I decided to give my doll kind of a different color hairstyle. I did not want black. I did not want brown. So I used purple and black. And then I'm just coloring my eyes with the portfolio, and that's the only thing I use. I just wanted to play with my portfolios pastels, and I just wanted to kind of play around and see if I can kind of perfect my technique on making mixed media dolls. So what I'm using here, instead of my Sharpie to create the outlines and the details on my doll, I'm actually using a detail paintbrush and some Indian ink, and it's the ink that you purchase when you have a calligraphy pen. So that's what I use for my mixed media, and it actually is working very well. I really like how it's very dark, and it really works nicely on the mixed media. So here I'm just kind of creating a background using just my watercolor paints, and I do like how it drips. So after I completed the background, and I saw my doll, she kind of reminded me as a little princess, and I remember that I had this die cut with a view paper pad called Once Upon a Time that had fairies and castles and also a nice little saying. So I decided to use up that paper pad and cut out the shapes, and I am going to use it in a minute in this project. But first, before I do put my paper pieces down, I wanted to create a nice little background, like a distressing background. So that's why I pulled some of my stamp, and using archival ink, I kind of stamped the background, and not very perfect. You want it just to give it texture, but you don't want like a real crisp imprint. Here I'm using some gel medium to place my dolls down. And then the castle, you'll see in a second, the castle was kind of receding in the background, and I really wanted to make it stand out a little more. So I went over with my water-soluble pastels, and I colored the roof orange. And then I went and got my Sharpie, and I started outlining all the doorways and the windows just to make it stand out a little more. And also I outlined the structures, all the castles and rooftops. And then I decided to give it a little bit of highlights with my white Sharpie painter pen that I just acquired recently. And then I decided to kind of give a little black halo effect to all my paper pieces using the Portfolio water-soluble wax pastels. And they act just like the regular gelatos, so they work very nicely. So here I'm just finishing up and making sure everything is nice and dry. So now let me give you a closer look at the final project. And as you can see, I really like how the halo and my dog came out not too bad for my third attempt on creating a mixed media doll just from scratch. And I really like the paper piecing. So I hope you like this project, and thank you for watching. Bye now.